video no ene akwa aba no watemu ensem wo hu de ekoso ewo man Ghana mu a dani brenyina ade achi ade sa no ensem bebre ekoso ewo Ghana ye politics no mu eye NPP NDC CPP ena afa so political parties no nyina no ehon nsem ewo ase aha ena obenya ni nyina message also subscribe to your YouTube channel no e de amaye the Punch TV sunie medamasi
at a warehouse in Tamale and handed over to the NIB for a full-scale investigation into this gargantuan scandal. And we'll hear from our expert panel on this matter. But I want to start with Colonel Festus Abuaje. He's a security analyst. And we'll also speak to Edemson Anu. He's a citizens movement against corruption and handed over to the NIB for a full-scale investigation into this gargantuan scandal. And we'll hear from our expert panel on this matter. But I want to start with Colonel Festus Abuaje. He's a security analyst. And we'll also speak to Edemson Anu. He's a citizens movement against corruption. And of course, we'll speak to Mr. Kobina Atabedu. He's a procurement expert. Sir, good morning. Colonel Festus Abuaje, do I have you online with me?
Good morning and thanks for having me.
Great. So before we start the conversation, I want us to look at what we know so far. We have some slides that I want to take you through so far and for the benefit of our audience who are following us. And we know that beginning of this year, the minister launched an investigation into some containers that were not cleared at the ports. And through that investigation, it came out that 1,328 of these containers were missing. And how did we get there?
Is that your question?
No, please. I'm just going through the slides.
Oh, all right.
So now he said that they were reported to have 2,462 containers at the port. But the investigative committee findings revealed that only 1,134 of these containers were actually at the port, which means that 1,328 of these containers were missing. And when this came to light, this is what the minister had to say. He said the important issue here is that the whereabouts of these containers, the briefing he received indicates that about 40 of them had been already traced to a warehouse in Pong, which belongs to a Chinese national. And all 40 containers have been confiscated and moved to a secure location. It goes on to say that out of the 14 individuals who've been arrested so far, 10 are Chinese nationals and 4 are Ghanaians. And these people we know so far are in the custody of the police for investigations. Now, the containers that were left at the port incurred a demurrage of 909 million Ghana cedis. This is interesting because there was a dedicated fund that was supposed to be used to clear these containers at the port, but they said because of financial constraints, they couldn't continue that. And then they contracted 2 companies to handle this task. These companies, it turns out that one of them didn't have the license to take on such a contract. And these are the companies. We have Dawad's Bonds Limited and Mint Logistics. Now, okay, let me come to you, sir, and ask, since all these issues have been coming to light, what sense did you make of these missing ECG container saga, sir?
Well, thanks once again, and my compliments to my co-panelist. I've heard various descriptions of this ECG saga. Some have referred to it as inefficiency. Others have suggested it's mismanagement. I think those descriptions are understatements. And that what we are looking at, or what is staring us in the face, is clear organized criminal activity. For now, based on the report that you have cited, the technical committee's report from the ministry, there is no citation or evidence of external actors being involved. But nevertheless, within the country, it is an organized criminal activity And if we go back decades to the era of General Champon, this is clearly economic sabotage by a few individuals, and unfortunately, by institutions the state has set up to promote the well-being of the state, i.e., the state's national security. Mm-hmm. From what you've read, I'll come back to the itemized national security issues, but we're all in this country. We know the periodic power outages and the explanations that the ECG and other experts give, some because of aging equipment, resulting in and those other materials that we find on our pylons age with time. Every day when the African sun rises, they expand. In the evening, in the night, when the temperature cools down, they contract. And if any one of us has done basic science, expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction, over a period of time will result in degradation.
Right.
We are not talking about containers. I think that is also another misperception. That everywhere you read containers, perception. That everywhere you read containers, they are not containers. They are not empty containers. They are containers filled with ECG equipment, either cables, either meters, or transformers, and probably more items. So those are things that are being diverted, not the metal containers.
Okay, and Kena, we'll get incisive with the issues. But you said there's an organized criminal network. I'm curious to know where, within the ECG or at the port operations. Where is this criminal network?
Let me go through the list that I have. Based on the report that all of us are citing, the technical committee's report. Mm-hmm. First of all, are the CEOs or the managing directors of ECG. And in that report, two of them have been mentioned. The immediate past MD, Dubik Mahama, then my own relation from Asante Achimjo, Kwame Ajimambudu, if I'm not mistaken. Now, Dubik was the one who in 2022 came and stopped the practice of weekly payments of 5 million cedis. Now, you probably forcing me to go into the plot, but the outgone MPP government, whose Ministry of Finance and its Minister of Finance have also been mentioned in the report. First of all, the government provided inaccurate container figures in the transition report. The MPP government said there were 3,000. Well, we know that when they went to the harbor, there weren't 3,000 containers or equipment. There were far less, which have been mentioned in the report. Then number 4, you have the Director of Procurement, Premises and Estates. Now, who is the one who actually does the procurement? Now, who cites orders from above? A certain influencer. Obviously, this influencer, the number 5 of the conspiratorial gang, must be a politically connected person, if not a minister or if not somebody influential in the MPP administration. I've mentioned the Minister of Finance. Then you have the unnamed official, I've mentioned that, unnamed influential figures and so on. Now, all of these capabilities are what caused the ECG to pay the demurrage of about almost a billion. I would prefer to call it a billion. Just 100,000 or 91,000 cedi share. Then we know that the containers were supposed to be at a port, a customs port, not a free port. Now, to get these containers out, you need to follow procedures. So now, the Big Mahama unilaterally decides that 2 clearing agents, at least one of whom is not even registered with the customs as a clearing agent or customs house agent, to clear those goods. And on top of that, they awarded contracts. Now, one of them, what's his name? Mink, logistics, clears 47 containers, delivers only 1 container full of equipment to ECG, diverts the remaining 46 containers. Then you have Dawards, for instance. Or is it Dawards Bond Limited?
Yeah, Dawards.
47 containers and then diverted 46 and sent 1 to ECG. Gapoha has got questions to answer, as I've said. And that is the 12th entity. Then you have GRA, at least a customs division of GRA, which also has questions to answer. But above all of this, I am an ardent believer that the entity that we call national security ought to know almost everything that happens in this country. And when we're talking about the scale of this ECG saga, criminal network, if national security says that it didn't know, then the country is doomed. Mm-hmm. So I want to believe that national security was aware of what was going on, the procurement, malfeasance, and everything. But then because it has been politicized or captured by the political authority, turned a blind eye. Now, this is what constitutes the criminal network. It is not mismanagement. It is not inefficiency. It was a very well-oiled, criminal group deciding to rob the country of billions. There's only one report that is being cited. Who knows what might have gone on over the past 8 years or before 2019, for instance. That is how we want to look.
The points TV so any episode for your nyina kwaba e eba channel ye so open our number 1 channel ebema all the political issues, all the political stories they are and then I make for the points TV Eddie amawo. Mess also be subscribe to YouTube channel na face so like video no Eddie amame. Share ma for nye bi hwe na fi fa comment brand so e wo comment section ho and no more. And some be ACC e wo Ghana ye politics mu say ye NPP say ye NDC. Ni nyina no yaboabo ano ayede e bro. Miso nyabotre ene adaje video bi etwagu ensem no akwako ye henyan e wo man Ghana mu ase amafo eka bi nyabotre na afi ye nkonkohwe video no emra